obsessed. You wake up, and the first thing you do is stand against the wall. Heels together, back flat, chin level. You reach up and press a book flat on your head, then mark the wall with a pencil. You step away and measure. Same as yesterday, same as the last month, same as the number that's been sitting in your head since the last time a doctor measured you. 5'7", 5'8", 5'6". Whatever the number is, it's not the one you want. You stand in front of the mirror and try to see what other people see. You look average height to yourself until you stand next to someone taller and the frame shrinks. You notice height everywhere now. You notice who's taller than you in every room you walk into. You notice the guy your height wearing boots and looking 2 inches taller. You notice the guy who's 5'10" and treats it like he's 6 feet. You measure yourself 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, night. You learn that you're taller in the morning because your spine decompresses. During sleep, you hold on to that morning number like it's the real one. By night, you've lost almost an inch from gravity compressing your discs all day, and that feels like a punishment. You Google how to grow taller and fall into a hole that doesn't end. Stretching routines, hanging from a bar, supplements, bone lengthening surgery in Turkey, shoe lifts, insoles, posture fixes, subliminal audio tracks that claim to stimulate growth hormone while you sleep. You don't know what's real and what's a scam. You check if your growth plates are closed by looking at your hands, your wrists, your age. You're 19 or 22 or 25, and you already know the answer, but you don't want to accept it. You look at your parents and do the math. You search late growth spurt stories and read every comment from guys claiming they grew 2 inches after 20. You hold on to those stories like evidence in a court case. You screenshot them. You save them in a folder. You read them again. When the number on the wall makes you feel stuck, at school, at work, at a party, you stand as tall as you can, chin up, shoulders back, neck stretched. You avoid photos where height differences show. You wear thicker-soled shoes and nobody notices, but you feel the half-inch like it matters. At night, you lie in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about a number that controls how you see yourself and how you think the world sees you. You check the wall one more time before you sleep. You tilt the tape measure, hoping for a better read. The pencil mark hasn't moved. You open a dating app and see a profile that says 6 feet and above only, and something sinks in your chest. You close the app. You measure one more time standing on your toes just to see what the number would look like. You step down and the number drops back to reality. You set your alarm and hope tomorrow's morning measurement is higher. It won't be. But you'll check anyway because you can't stop. Desperate. You wake up and measure. You're a 1/4 inch taller than last night because your spine decompressed during sleep. You write it down. You've been writing it down for weeks. You own a stadiometer now because the pencil on the wall method wasn't precise enough. You track morning height, evening height, and the difference between them. You're looking for patterns. You start a stretching routine you found on YouTube. Cobra stretches, cat-cow, hanging from a pull-up bar for 2 minutes at a time. You do it every morning and every night. You buy an inversion table off Amazon and hang upside down for 10 minutes a day. Your face turns red, your head pounds, and you gain a temporary centimeter that disappears within an hour of standing. You keep doing it anyway. You order height-boosting insoles that add an inch inside your shoes. They make your heel sit higher than the shoe was designed for, and your ankle wobbles on uneven ground. You wear them every day. You buy elevator shoes from an overseas website that add 2 inches. They look normal from the outside, but your heel sits on a hidden platform inside. The first time you wear them around people, you feel taller. You stand straighter. You make more eye contact. Then someone sees you without them, and the difference is obvious, and you feel worse than before. You research limb lengthening surgery. You read every post on the forum. Guys who flew overseas, broke their femurs or tibias on purpose, spent months in a wheelchair, and gained 2 or 3 inches. The cost is $50,000 to $100,000. The recovery is 6 months to a year. The risks include nerve damage, uneven legs, chronic pain, and infection. You bookmark the page anyway. You price out flights. You calculate how long it would take to save that much money. You think about it when you should be sleeping. You take a human growth hormone quiz online. You look into peptides. You buy ashwagandha and zinc and vitamin D because someone in a forum said they squeezed out a last half-inch with the right stack. Months pass. Your spine is more flexible. Your posture is slightly better. Your height hasn't changed. Not really. You've spent hundreds of dollars and dozens of hours chasing a number, and the number is the same. You go to bed wondering if this is something you fix or something you accept. You lie flat on your back and stare at the ceiling. You can feel your spine decompressing against the mattress. You know by morning you'll measure taller. You also know it doesn't count. Temporary height is like temporary money. It doesn't solve anything. You don't have the answer yet. But you're starting to suspect the answer isn't a product, a pill, or a plane ticket. Posture reset. You wake up and stand against the wall. But this time you're not measuring. You're checking your alignment. Heels touching the wall, glutes touching the wall, shoulder blades touching the wall, back of your head touching the wall. You realize your head doesn't touch without effort. You've been living with forward head posture for years. Your shoulders round forward from sitting at a desk, looking at your phone, and carrying tension in your traps. You look at a side profile photo and see it clearly. Your ear sits 2 inches in front of your shoulder. Your upper back has a curve that pushes your head forward and steals height from your frame. You start fixing it. You do chin tucks every morning, pulling your head straight back like you're making a double chin on purpose. You stretch your chest against a doorframe for 30 seconds each side. You foam roll your thoracic spine over a roller, arching backwards until you feel the stiff segments pop. You do face pulls and band pull-aparts at the gym to strengthen the muscles between your shoulder blades. You stop sitting for more than an hour without standing up and resetting. You set a timer on your phone. Every 60 minutes you stand, stretch, and check your posture. You hang from a pull-up bar at the end of every workout, not for height, but for spinal decompression and shoulder health. Within 2 weeks, your upper back feels different, less tight, more mobile. Your shoulders sit further back without you thinking about it. Within a month, you stand against the wall and the back of your head touches without forcing it. A friend tells you that you look taller. You haven't grown. You've just stopped compressing yourself. You take a side profile photo and compare it to the one from last month. Your ear is closer to sitting over your shoulder. Your thoracic curve is flatter. Your chin is level instead of jutting forward. You look up your actual height with corrected posture and you're 3/4 of an inch taller than your old slouched measurement. That number is real. It's not a trick and it's not temporary. It's your actual height when your skeleton is stacked the way it's supposed to be. You stop measuring 3 times a day. You measure once a week in the morning with good posture. The number is consistent. It's not the number you dreamed about, but it's higher than where you started, and you earned it with daily work, not a gimmick. You start noticing how many guys around you walk with terrible posture. Rounded shoulders, forward heads, spines compressed by years of sitting. They're losing an inch or more, and they don't even know it. You were one of them a month ago. You look at old photos, and you can see the slouch in every frame. Shoulders curled, head pushed forward, chin tilted up to compensate. You looked shorter than your skeleton actually was. That era is over. You walk taller now. Not because your bones changed. Because you stopped folding yourself in half every time you sat down. Optimized. You wake up and your posture is automatic. You don't think about chin tucks anymore. Your head sits over your shoulders by default. Your thoracic spine is mobile. Your hip flexors are loose from daily stretching. You stand tall without trying because the muscles that hold you upright are strong and the muscles that pulled you forward are lengthened. Your frame looks different. Not just taller, more open. Your shoulders are wider because they're pulled back. Your neck looks longer because your traps aren't bunched up. Your chest is open because your pecs aren't shortened from hunching. You've dialed in every external advantage you can find. Your shoes have a slight heel and a thick sole. Not elevator shoes. Regular shoes chosen for their platform height. Boots that add 1.5 inches. Sneakers with chunky soles that add 1 inch. You rotate them based on the outfit. Your style has changed. You wear fitted clothes that elongate your frame. Vertical lines over horizontal. Monochrome palettes that create an unbroken line from your shoulders to your shoes. You cuff your pants at the right break. You avoid oversized tops that swallow your proportions. You get a haircut with volume on top that adds visual height. You stand next to the same people you stood next to a year ago, and the gap looks smaller. Not because you grew 3 inches, because you reclaimed 1 inch of posture, added 1 inch of sole, and styled the rest. You stopped chasing the surgery bookmark. You deleted the forum tab. You threw out the height insoles that made your ankles wobble. You kept the stretching, the gym work, the posture habits, and the smart shoe choices. Your morning measurement is about 1 inch higher than it was a year ago. Your evening measurement is more stable because your core is stronger and your spine compresses less through the day. You stop tracking the number entirely. You haven't opened the stadiometer in weeks. At night, you stretch, foam roll, and get into bed, knowing your frame is running at full capacity. Not the height you imagined in your head 2 years ago, but every millimeter your skeleton can give you. You're getting. You look in the mirror and you don't see a short guy trying to look tall. You see a guy who's built his frame to its maximum potential. The proportions work. The posture is clean. The clothes fit the body like they were chosen with intention because they were. Someone asks how tall you are at a party and you give the number without flinching. No rounding up, no adding an inch, just the number, and then you move on with the conversation because it's a number, not a verdict. Confident. You wake up and you don't measure. You haven't measured in months. You don't know your exact height down to the fraction anymore, and you don't care. You know it's higher than where you started because your posture is fixed and your frame is stacked correctly. That's enough. You get dressed and choose shoes based on the outfit, not the sole height. Some days you wear boots that add an inch and a half. Some days you wear flat sneakers because they go with the fit. You don't panic about the flat days. You walk into a room and you don't scan for who's taller. You stopped ranking yourself against every man in your peripheral vision. That habit burned more energy than any workout and gave you nothing in return. It's gone now. Deleted like the forum bookmarks and the stadiometer readings. You talk to people without calculating the height difference. You stand next to a guy who's 6'2" and you don't shrink into yourself. You hold your frame, your posture, your eye contact. Confidence fills space that inches can't. You realize the guys who seem tall aren't always the tallest in the room. They're the ones who stand like they belong there. Open shoulders, straight spine, chin level, feet planted. You've become that guy. Not because you found a magic stretch or a secret supplement, because you spent a year fixing your posture, building your frame, dressing with intention, and slowly letting go of a number that was never going to define you as much as you thought it would. Women don't mention your height. Friends don't mention your height. The only person who ever measured you against an imaginary standard was you. You go to the gym and lift heavy. Your traps, your shoulders, your neck, your back. You build a frame that looks powerful regardless of the tape measure. You walk with purpose. You sit up straight not because you're trying to look taller, but because your body is trained to hold that position. At night, you lie in bed, and the ceiling looks the same as it always did. But you're not staring at it thinking about a number. You're thinking about tomorrow. What you'll build. What you'll do. Where you'll go. The wall in your bathroom still has a faint pencil mark from a year ago. You haven't added a new one. You don't need to. You're done measuring. You started this trying to add inches to your skeleton. You ended it by adding something to yourself that no ruler can quantify. You go to the gym the next morning, and a shorter guy walks in with perfect posture, a clean physique, and a frame that fills the room. Nobody's measuring him. Nobody's thinking about his height. They're watching how he moves. That's the thing nobody told you when you started this. People don't see your height. They see your presence. And presence is built, not born. The height didn't change your life. How you carry it did.